Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print. I'm very excited because, for a couple of reasons. One, we are finally in the year 1985, and we're getting into probably one of my favorite stories of the Marvel Star Wars series. And so I'm very excited to talk about it. We're actually going to be talking about 3 Marvel comics today, and they're all by Mary Jo Duffy. And the first one we're going to talk about is actually the last one in our Volume 6 Wookiee World trade. We are finally at the end of this trade, and then the next 2 issues beginning are the ones in Volume 7, which is the final trade. So, issue number 95, and I love this cover, by the way. This is the issue here, and it's called No Zeltrons. And number 96 is called Duel with the Dark Lady, and 97 is called Escape. So, this took place between January and March of 1985. Now, the first part was released with Ewoks number 1, the first of the 2 Star Wars series that were coming out. And we'll talk about the Ewoks comics next time. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about this arc right here. I didn't want to break it up. I kind of just wanted to make sure we talk about this arc now. We'll do Ewoks, and then we'll keep moving on. So anyways, Shira Bree, just to kind of a recap here, she was introduced very, very early on in the Expand Universe. You know, she was a pilot that had infiltrated the Rebel Alliance. She got in this crash. Luke accidentally took her out. She was saved by Darth Vader. We did not know that she was Lumaya. So on the first page, she was kind of like this dark lady that was kind of hooded, and I remember saying to you that, oh, this doesn't look like Lumaya. Well, here we finally get to see Lumaya on the first page, and this is pretty much what we know Lumaya to look like. And so her new look, you know, it shows her light whip. And so it's kind of like a lightsaber, but it's a whip. Kind of, you know, it's another element of that. So we still don't know at this moment, though. Like, we know in retrospect and in hindsight, but at the time, readers did not know that this was Shira Bree. But we find that basically she's working for a guy who looks like Knife. He looks like him, and his name is Din Siva. And they're trying to find the rebels, and the rebel that they've captured has information on Luke Skywalker. She wants revenge. So Leia has gone to Cabrania, I think is what it's called, and so these bodyguards go with her, and they're actually these Zeltron like guys, and they kind of, I don't know, maybe remind me of like the Backstreet Boys. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just in the look, but they've kind of got like that old school Backstreet, you know, kind of vibe to them or something. So Nathan Butler, who did a review, called it best when he compared them to them, and I'm like, yeah, he pretty much hit the nail on the head. But anyways, so Han is thinking, like, what are, like, these weirdos gotta go. Like, I can't believe they would hit on Leia. And he, like, this one guy, like, gets in his face, and Han's like, these guys have gotta go. They're gonna hit on my lover person. And so, the Zeltrons, you know, mess up Leia's dress. You know, it's kind of this comedy, like, uh-oh, they messed up her dress. They're trying to, you know, it's a silly little story here. And she actually is then trapped. The Nagai hold them all hostage, and they break out at the end of the issue, and basically that's the end of the issue. Now, this issue does set up Danny and Kiro and Luke and their adventure. Kiro and Danny are falling in love at this point, and they go to Kinonine, which is a desolate planet. You know, here, and so they go there, and they are attacked, or Kiro and Danny are attacked by Lumaya. So Luke finds out, and he engages her in combat. Luke gets hit pretty hard. he gets pretty much beaten because he's not used to a light whip. So the issue ends with her kind of standing over him, defeated. In fact, that's actually what ends the trade. So we will jump into Volume 7, which is Far, Far Away. Kind of bittersweet, too. This is the very end of our Marvel chronology here. But anyways, we'll jump into the next issue. This is 96, like I said, Duel with the Dark Lady. This is that issue there. And so Luke gets, like I said, he gets beaten up and he gets captured at this point. And so what he ends up doing is he gets beaten again. And so she actually uses her whip to, like, knock his saber out of his hand. And then she ends up grabbing it. And so Luke gets captured. And Kiro actually goes and saves Luke. He busts him out. And basically, Luke builds a red Shoto lightsaber, which is a shorter, kind of like Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, where she had that little blade. That's what Luke ends up wielding. So I love this panel here too, where Luke is like, finally gets his saber back, and he reveals the Shoto. So he uses the Shoto, and he basically knows at this point that during this duel, Luke knows that Lumaya is Shira. And so he wins, and when he does, he uses his Shoto and he knocks this armor off of her face, and her face is revealed. And suddenly, when they look up in the sky, the Nagai have invaded. And they are from Kesh. And so in issue number 97, the third arc, which is called Escape, the stormtroopers actually end up aiding the Nagai, as you can see here on this first page. And Kiro breaks in to save Danny, and Luke gets this info about the situation. Kiro and Danny end up fighting. But they fall in the water, and blood comes up. And we don't know which one of them dies. We don't know which one ends up biting the dust. So, we don't know if Kiro and Knife, they were the ones, or the guy who looks like Knife. They fall in. We just see blood. That's all we see. And so Danny is like, oh my gosh, and Luke's like, hey, it might not be his blood. Luke's is like, he may only be wounded. Well, look, maybe we can still help him. But they end up leaving, and basically it kind of ends with this flower, or whatever, underwater, to end the issue. And so we don't know who died, or what happens. We won't see chronologically until issue 101. So, this is one of my all-time favorite Marvel stories. I love the duel between Luke and Lumaya. It's fantastic to see that finally happen, and to see that confrontation with them. And so, are the issues to finish out Volume 6 and beginning Issue 7, or Volume 7, are these stories essential in your Expanded Universe reading? I think so, yes, especially if you're a Marvel reader. If you're a Marvel reader, absolutely, because it's one of the best stories in the Marvel arc. But if you're a modern reader, and I also forgot too, if you're a Marvel reader, it also is the start of the Nagai invasion. But if you are a modern EU reader, this is still really cool. Again, I recommended this with the early Shira Brie issues way back when. This is kind of cool to see, again, Luke and Shira finally confront each other in combat. And especially if you're going to be rereading or reading Legacy of the Force, I think this is a great prelude to that. Because, again, you get to see kind of that rivalry build up and then finally culminate in this duel. So absolutely check out these issues. I think they're fantastic. And I think you're in for one heck of a great ride. And I'd love to hear your opinions on it. So, folks, that is all the time I have for today. I will see you next time with another episode of the Star Wars Library.